Sup, y'all? We back once again. It's your boy Kai. This video is about the new generation and how the old heads is constantly criticizing the new generation. Now, I understand why they criticize them. You see them making some of the same mistakes that you probably made back when, you was a young buck. It's all in the way of how a lot of times it's not what you say, but how you say it. I don't feel like the OGs have any right to criticize the young bucks for the simple fact that it's your fault. Sorry to say it, but it's your fault. Human beings, we come into this world as blank slates. Now, if you're a blank slate, you don't know anything, you don't know how to do anything, you don't know how to walk, you don't know how to talk, you don't know how to think. Everything you learn from other people. Everything you do, from the way you walk, to talk, dress, the way you treat people, you learn from watching other people. If the old people don't like the way the young people are moving, guess what? They learned it from y'all. So then, if they learned it from you in the first place, how can you turn around and criticize them for what they learned from you? I mean, that's the crazy part about it. The real problem is a lot of people don't have the ability to look in the mirror and see themselves. They say that if you want to confuse somebody, act like them. That'll really throw them off. And I think that's what we see when we look at the new generation. It confuses a lot of OGs. They see a lot of the bad things that they used to do, or not even bad, but the negative things that they used to do growing up. Usually people don't emulate the good things that other people do. They usually move towards the negative. Human beings, we're just drawn to the negative, especially in this day and age. Just look at the internet. Everyone wants to just try to criticize you. They might be mad about their jobs, mad about their life, mad about their relationship, mad about their kids, mad just about life in general. And they want to criticize. They just want to look for something to criticize. The minute you do something that they disagree with, they own you. I mean, shit is crazy out here. Again, we can't criticize the young kids when everything they learn, they got from us, the older generation. Now, I'm relatively young myself. I'm about 28 years old. So I'm not too young and not too old at the same time. So I'm right in the middle. I'm old enough to understand what I've reached maturity. I'm right at that, mid to late 20s where human beings reach maturity. I understand what the OGs is talking about. Whether it be in hip hop, whether it just be in everyday life. I see what they're talking about when they criticize the young people. But at the same time, you can't just be disrespectful in the way that in your approach. Because people don't respond to constant criticism. Matter of fact, they just start to resent you and they start to strike back, as we see in hip hop. They're like, man, F y'all old niggas. You know what I'm saying? And you can't blame them. If someone's just constantly criticizing you, constant negative reinforcement, you're going to get to a point where you just don't want to hear that shit no more. And I grew up in a household where, maybe I grew up in an era where we just would constantly criticize people. We felt like it might be out of love, but when you just constantly criticize somebody, eventually they're just going to start to tune you out. Because it's like, all you have to say is bad things about me. I don't want to hear that shit. Human beings respond better to praise. People love being praised. And when they are praised, it's like they become addicted to it. They'll do anything to be praised again. Praised and positive reinforcement works a lot better than the negative reinforcement and criticism. It's definitely up to the OGs to guide the youth. So I'm not saying to just leave them alone and let them just run around buck wild. But it's all in your approach. You should look at yourself not as someone, you're not a teacher that says, no, that's wrong. That's not what you are. You should be more like a guide to say, hey, this is what I did when I was young. I made those exact same mistakes. When I got older, I realized that that's not the way to do things. This is the way you do things. And when you give your personal experience and tell them that you was a young knucklehead yourself, you made a lot of same mistakes that they made, and you got older and you learned from them, you learn that a lot of the things that they're doing today, a lot of the attention-seeking behavior, a lot of the, just a lot of the craziness. We see a lot of craziness going on in this world. The young people just trying to find their way. It's better to guide them than to try to constantly point out the wrong that they're doing. People love doing that, pointing out the wrong that other people are doing. Everyone knows exactly what other people should be doing with their lives, but have no clue about their own lives. Isn't that amazing? People could sit there and tell you everything that you're supposed to be doing, but when it comes to their lives, they're absolutely clueless. So that's an interesting thing. But also, the youth need to be more open to the OGs. As much as we want to move forward and say, oh, the past is the past, and we don't live by that no more. You can't move on to the future and forget about the past. That's just not how life works. You learn from the past. You take from the past, and then you take what's going on now, and you combine those two things. And that's how we have a better future. Put it this way. Let's say you're an artist. If you haven't studied the artists that have come before you, it's impossible for you to be original, for the simple fact that you don't know what came before you. How can you be original if you don't know what's been done before? It would be pretty impossible, wouldn't it? You might come up with a whole style that you think is innovative and new and it's never been done before, but the truth is, since you didn't do your research, it could have been done. You just haven't heard it because you didn't do your research. So a lot of people out here, I don't want to say any names, but me, somebody who's done my research on my hip hop history, I can definitely say that a lot of these young people, they think they're original in what they're doing, but we've seen it before. And then when we point it out to them, they don't want to hear it. So I would say that, always be open to new information. It's not just about listening to what people are telling you. It's just be open to new information and study what came from the past. It can only make you better. It can only make you that much better, because once you know everything that's been done, you can say, okay, I see what y'all did. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to flip it this way. That's where true originality is born, by understanding what's been done before and putting your own twist on it. That's true originality. You know what I'm saying? As far as life in general, older people, they done seen it all, done it all. There's nothing that you're going to go through in your life. There's nothing that you've been through that older people haven't been through before. So they can help you anything that you've been going through, because they've been through it. They could give you advice on any type of problem or issue that because the youth has the suicide rate is pretty high this young generation, and there's no way a teenager should be committing suicide. I mean, you have no responsibilities, your life, your job is pretty much just to go to school and do your homework and have fun with your friends. So to see the suicide rates going up, to see a teenager commit suicide, it's really heartbreaking. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not saying that they don't legitimately have pain, because everybody has pain, but teenagers, that's just way too young to be. Any age is too young to be committing suicide. I don't think anyone should be committing suicide, but I feel like everyone just feels isolated today. No one feels like they could talk to anybody. People feel like they're the only ones going through what they're going through. One thing that I learned throughout the years is that older people, they've seen it all, done it all, and did it all again. And they could talk to you about any problem that you could be possibly facing. If you don't want to go to a therapist, you want to go to your friends, an older person who's lived life, they're the perfect person to go to when you have an issue. That's how we help each other. And then the young person keeps you fresh. They keep you on what's the new things that's going on. Because, the young people, they're all into what's going on now. They want to be cool. They're in the now, as they say. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. The young person keeps you hip to what's going on. The older person gives you advice and lets you know that, anything that you've been through, they could guide you through life. I know that's how I've been, that's how I know as much as I know, because I was always somebody who listened to the older folks. I sat and listened as opposed to stood and talked. So that's definitely one of the things that helped me through life. Now I'm sharing it with y'all. And once again, these are just my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.